What do we think could have been done better? To be honest, I can't really think of a huge amount that I would improve in this.
Budget is by far, I think, budget and length.
See, I quite like the fact that it has no budget. Just that whole thing of getting into the world of it, despite how crappy that world looks.
I mean, despite, let's face it, Joss Whedon has more money to throw at a film than we ever will, unless, you know, if you get on
more money than you ever will.
Ouch. But yeah, he's got more money to throw at these kind of things than most people ever will. Mm-hmm. I mean, this, I think, could have worked with, like, you know, a 40mm budget like Serenity, mm-hmm. and then you kind of, like, you know, have the epic story going on. Yeah. Triple the epic.
But it wouldn't have really changed much about it, you know. It wouldn't have.
No, the central core would still be there, and you couldn't recast any of those characters.
No.
But at the same time, I would love to see this with a bit of gloss. What I would love even more to see, is this on stage.
It would make a very good stage show.
I mean, let's face it, if you wanted to do it on the cheap, you could take out the Veranda scene, for example. I think that's probably what, the lasers, all those kind of things, you could take those out of it.
Or you could make them out of cardboard with you know, sparkly bits.
I'm so making a sparkly cardboard van later. What I would improve is some of the dubbing. Some of the dubbing on some of the songs, I'm not sure whether it's the quality of the rip we got.
I suppose.
A bit. Also, I'm not that keen on Penny's voice sometimes, but that's a personal preference.
I have to agree with you there, because also her and Dr. Horrible himself, because to my ears, they both sound like actors who have been taught to sing.
Yeah.
And I suppose you have to make a choice when you're doing something like this. You have to choose. You're either going to go with actors who you then teach to sing, or singers who you then teach to act.
Yeah.
And in this case, I can forgive the fact that they're not such wonderful singers, because I would rather have them be able to act well.
Yeah.
Because if you had people who had perfect voices but couldn't act the dialogue scenes, it would just be crap.
Yeah. And Joss Whedon lives and dies on his dialogue. Yeah. Little banterish moments.
Exactly. And there is a lot of that in this as well.
Yeah. Banter fans will be kept very happy.
Very, very happy. I was very happy with that.
I want to do great things, you know? I want to be an achiever. Like Bad Horse.
The thoroughbred of sin?
I meant Gandhi.
So, I don't really have a huge amount left to say. Do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Joss Whedon is my god. Long live the Whedon.
Yes. My final thoughts is I was very, very impressed with this. Very pleasantly surprised. And anyone who has ever in their life watched a single episode of Buffy and enjoyed it, just watch this. That's all I can say, really.
If you've watched a musical or Buffy, or a Buffy musical, in point of fact, then you'll
if you haven't watched either, watch this, because it's a good way to introduce yourself into the world of Joss Whedon.
Yeah, and respect how well he writes, and the wonderful characters he creates.
In fact, I'd say I prefer this to his other stuff, for the simple reason that...
We're going back to Alan Moore territory.
For the simple reason that this is a one-off and can be appreciated as a one-off. Whereas if you want to appreciate an episode of Buffy, you have to know all the backstory.
Yeah, you have to be involved in the art.
And, you know, every episode of Buffy is a piece of genius, but you need to know all that backstory, whereas with this, you don't. It's just a one-off episode. If you don't want to get caught up in, you know, 10-season-long story arcs, and you just want to enjoy some
being as big a fan as I am of the
dialogue.
Buffyverse, I did find that really challenging, because as soon as I see Whedon's work, I'm like, I want to see more of this universe that he's created.
But it's a good way to introduce people who don't know Joss Whedon very well, because it's a simple starting point. You know, you can watch this, and then if you like this, then you can go on to kind of more heavier material.
Yeah, I mean, I've shown it to a couple of our friends who have never seen, kind of like watched Buffy once or twice, never seen Angel. As much as I've tried to force them not seen Firefly or anything like that, and they absolutely loved this, because it had that different kind of atmosphere that Whedon doesn't approach unless he's approaching something like Toy Story or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
Toy Story.
Yeah, he wrote most of Toy Story.
He wrote Toy Story?
Most of it, yeah.
You're shitting me.
Well, you'd be surprised at stuff he wrote.
Wow.
It's literally, look him up on IMDb. We'll do that in a second.
I didn't know that. Okay, carry on.
He wrote the funny bits of X-Men too.
You tell me. No way!
So sorry, I am actually a Whedon cultist. I actually have his name tattooed on my back. Actually, I may do if I get really drunk tonight.
Right. So yeah, there we go.
Dr. Horrible, good. Watch it. Yeah.
What he said. Bye bye.
Hardcore.
Grr. Arg.
You know, it's just that whole idea of the really crappy. I'm going to edit most of that out, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to go
You
on.
need to get into more trouble while we talk about it.
Yeah.
Shuffle on, shuffle on.
Shuffle on.
Should we both do a little bit of homework after this one and do Daredevil? Because we both got very conflicting.
Daredevil.
Yes.
Okay.